I'm back,
Bow,
baby.
bow, bow. Welcome back.
Hello.
All right. Can I roll into the intro? Are we
Yeah,
good?
roll it.
Can I do it? Welcome back to What We Learned This Week. It's episode 87676565431. I think it might be 8, but that's all right.
We're
Welcome back.
live.
Thanks for joining us. Another episode of What We Learned This Week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit it, don't quit it. Hit it past your friends. Don't hide your kids. Don't hide your wives, because we out here. We out here doing what, Drake?
Making great content.
Making great content. That's damn straight. It's a little bit of an audio delay. It's a little weird, but it's cool. We got it.
It's going.
If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/WWLTW podcasts. You can go support it there. If you're broke but you can't afford it, that's okay. We still love you. It's,
Not as much.
You're like the redheaded stepchild. We love you, but only because we have to, but that's okay. No. Thank you guys for joining us. Another episode of What We Learned This Week. We're going to roll right into it. Oh, first off, before we roll into it.
190.
190.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to the 190s. Actually, let me double check that. Let me double check that. We might have more because I did not check it today. And no, we're still at 190, so it's okay. But hey, you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
I do want to give a quick shout out for last episode before we roll into this episode. Last episode, we were talking about organ theory and immortality and stuff, which honestly, me and Drake talked about it afterwards. We both thought it was probably one of our best episodes. It was just a really well put together episode.
It's good conversation.
We had a guy comment on it that he flat out said, your video just came up on my feed randomly today, and he saw about us talking about organ theory and all that, and he talked about how there's 40,000 plus neurons in the heart, which is crazy. I didn't know that.
Wow.
So it kind of feeds into the whole organ memory kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So he commented that, and he commented one other thing too. I don't want to start the episode up here, but I don't remember what the other thing he said was. Oh, he talked about how mushrooms actually can, they're separate from most life forms because instead of needing sun, water and air, they only need water and air because they can create their own sun, which is crazy.
That's pretty interesting.
So yeah, shout out to that guy. I think his name was Sean Bibby on there, but shout out to you, Sean. Thanks for commenting. We appreciate you.
Well, that gives us
That's what we love to
context,
hear.
man. Interactions like that gives us greater understanding. If they're not shit talking, shit talking is cool too. But I definitely,
we take that too.
Yeah, well,
we shit talk, so we should have. It's okay if people shit talk because we shit talk. So,
but I mean, people who have a greater understanding of some of the topics that we talk about, I love coming across things like that to where it's a continuation of the conversation. And I just
100%, yeah. I love when people randomly see our video and they actually watch it because they're interested. It means we're doing something right. So I think we ended up getting quite a few. I think we doubled our. We try to get 100 views an episode, and I think we doubled it on that episode. I think we went. Oops,
nice.
Yeah, I think we're at 200 or something like that on that. So that's pretty cool. But anyways, speaking of shit talking, we're gonna roll right into it this week. We're not gonna hold back. We're going to do it right at the beginning of the episode. Bang, 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 bang. It's the shame chair. It's the shame chair. We're doing shame chair right away. We decided before the episode, or before the beginning of the episode started today, that I was just going to roll right into it because I had some stuff on my mind that I wanted to get off. And I feel like if we do the shame chair late into the episode like we normally do, we're not going to get a chance to really talk about it. And I think that is going to do my shame chair of the week this week a little bit of a disservice. So I want to do it first so that we make sure that we get that conversation started.
Do it.
So,
do it.
My shame chair of the week. And I want to point out that maybe not everyone will understand this shame chair because I think that it sort of is for a certain clientele or certain people in certain workforces. So my shame chair of the week is going to be a broad shame chair. It's not one single person. It's to anyone that feels this way. You are part of that shame chair. So just know that. People who try and hire creatives, so photographers, videographers, web designers, fucking artists, anything in that realm. People who try and hire them and then have the audacity when it comes to price to say, hey, our budget's low, but we can pay you in exposure.
Get fucked.
Oh, cool. I'll just go tell my fucking apartment complex that, hey, I'm not going to have the money this month, but I'd be happy to pay you in exposure.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I don't fucking need... Listen, here's the thing. Did you come to me? Did you find me? Right? You people have talked. And this is not... I'm not near... Like I said, this is not aimed towards anyone. So when I'm saying like me, I just mean because I'm in the creative space. Like I'm just using myself as the
catalyst
character-driven... the catalyst here. But if you come to me and you say, hey, love your work, would love to have you do some photo or video, art, whatever, but would you be okay being paid in exposure? You found me from the exposure. I don't need more exposure. I'm good on exposure. What I need is fucking money to afford to live, okay?
Dude.
I need to feed myself. I need to pay employees. I need to, like, buy you new equipment. So your exposure is the exact reason that you found me. I'm good at making my own exposure. I can do plenty of that.
For sure.
Like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all of that in this realm allows me to create my own exposure. That's part of my job when I start off as a creative is to create the exposure for myself. So
bringing some notoriety.
I don't need your exposure. I don't give a shit I don't care how big of a client you think you are, how big of a reach you think you have. I don't give a fuck about your exposure. Unless, and this is only for me, I'm not talking for other creatives, only for me. If you are a very prominent figure in your space, and you know for a fact that people in that space are going to be looking for the same exact service.
Yeah.
And even then, you're not only paying an exposure, you're just going to get maybe a discounted rate. But never once should you expect to pay solely in exposure. And it blows my mind how many people think that they can get away with that. I don't understand it.
Well, because I think a lot of times, especially with like companies that have been around for a bit or at least been established in their own right or whatever field it is, to needing I don't even want to call it an accessory service because especially nowadays with social media and everything, like, online being a huge advert platform, like we don't like write to our local newspaper to put an ad in or like do any of that shit or get a billboard or any of that shit. Like we put stuff to the internet, and it's such an important part of marketing now for selling yourself. It is a constant flux, especially when you're in the artistic field of things, and especially with creating, right? That you need to be able to do that for yourself and have that be an active part of your mechanism. I personally am not a part of it, but the second you mentioned exposure, I knew, like, I could only imagine you like even being separated from that career path or that field, I can totally fucking get that. That would be the most frustrating thing, especially with like a project that you might have fun with, or like, the parameters could be something cool that you haven't done yet and you want to, branch out into or like experiment with or really, really showcase what you're capable of doing if it's doing a project that you're comfortable with or have done before. And then for them to be like, okay, no, but yeah, we're gonna essentially pay you in nothing outside of having your name in a blip on our ad or our commercial or, whatever, like in a watermark somewhere. It's like, you understand that does nothing. Because I feel like you hit it right on the head, man. You hit it right on the fucking head. Like, you're in a constant, like, specifically you, right? And what you do for work and, like, how active you've been since, you moved and, like, since you started this whole process and really dove into, like, getting into your business and making a name for yourself. Like, you have been so overtly active in it that pisses me off. That somebody somewhere thought that they were big enough, or like that idea, the concept of that there would be somebody out there that would go to you and be like, oh yeah, we got this project gonna be super sick, you're right up your alley, we love your shit, we're not going to pay you though. Like, we'll just hope that you'll do it, to get notoriety. And it's like,
exactly.
fuck you.
Well, and the problem is too, the problem too is the ignorance behind the whole thing. Like, everyone with a camera now, because they have these amazing phones with these great cameras, everyone thinks they can do it. So they think the only reason they're hiring you is for maybe your creative eye, right? So they undervalue the fuck out of it.
Oh,
and
I'm
it's
sure.
just so annoying to see, because there are people far above my level that have to deal with the same thing. And I'm like, people don't understand. Not only like, okay, yes, it may seem super simple what I'm doing now, right? Like, I'm just going around taking photos, taking videos, and then you get this final product and it looks amazing, right? But you don't understand the years of training that go into that, or the thousands of dollars in equipment that have had to be purchased, or like, if for me specifically, the people that I pay, like, people think that, like, me specifically, I've had this issue where I go into like a meeting, and I'm not targeting any one person in particular. This is just a broad spectrum where people get this idea that, like, hey, I'm going to come in and do video, photo for you. And they sometimes think that, like, it's just me running the show. And yeah, it used to be just a one-man show, but like, the company has grown significantly since then. So it's not just me that has to get paid. There are people behind, like, alongside of me that have to get paid as well to help me create what you need. So it's just like, I can't, well, I'm gonna go to them and say, hey, client wants to pay me an exposure, I'll give you 25% of exposure, how about that? No, it's so stupid, and it's mind-boggling. And then I don't even know if I should go into the story, but the only reason I want to go into the story is because there's a perfect analogy that goes along with it. It's less on the exposure front, but I've had, oh man, I don't know how to say this without, like, I don't want to out anyone, because I obviously wouldn't say names, but I don't want to, like, but there was a good analogy that went along with it, so I have to say it. So there was a meeting that I had, and the person was great. They were super nice, and I did a little bit of work for them, and then they had come back a little while later, and they wanted to rehire me.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, they'd already paid once. They know my rates, everything like that. And they wanted to rehire me, which was great. But they then said, as a stipulation, that they would not pay me until certain metrics were hit. And, like, I was, like, taken back. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what? And they're like, yeah, well, we're not going to pay you until this certain goal is met. And I'm like, what the fuck? That's not how business works. And so I told the person, because they were in, like, the fitness realm, I told them, I said, you realize that's like me being your client and telling you that, hey, I want you to train me, but I'm not paying you until I lose 50 pounds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's not how it works.
That is literally
not.
No.
That's not. I was like, what? What? In what world do you think that is inappropriate? And they didn't ask. They just said it. They didn't even ask, like, hey, is it okay if if we pay based on metrics? Then we can maybe talk, right? Because maybe then it's like, okay, yeah, we'll scale it. So, hey, at the first part, you only pay me this much. And then once we hit this metric, you pay this much, right? Understandable. Right. That's a common practice. But for them to just flat out say, hey, I need you for this service, but I'm not paying you unless this metric is hit, or until this metric is hit. And I was like, nah, then you're not hiring me. I don't know what to tell you.
You'll find somebody else.
I'd be happy to help you, be happy to work with you, but I'm not, like, you're not getting my services for free off the bat. It's just not how it works, man. And it's it's in that same line. It's like, you think I can just operate for free?
Dude. And then to have to fucking chase that client too. Like, that concept, like, I get payment plans. I get, like, making it work equivalently for them. And, like, depending on what kind of project you're doing, or, like, even on the PR side of things, like, once you get a certain amount of exposure and everything else, like, I get how you could make that work amicably for both parties. I totally get it. I did, like, that makes sense. There's ways to do that. But to think on any level, because God forbid, right? Like whatever fucking forbid, you put in all this fucking work and time. Let's say you bite the bullet, right? In this proverbial instance, you bite the bullet, you take the contract, and you make a product for these people. And then nobody wants that fucking product. Okay. That's outside of you. Like, you did your job.
Yeah.
You completely did your job.
Yeah.
You did what you were asked to do to the best of your abilities, and you gave them your child, right? You gave them your fucking, your product that you created, and they drop the ball on their end.
Yeah.
They're not going to pay you because nobody's looking at what they're doing. Like, nobody gives a fuck about
So their comeback to me was like, oh, well, I want to make sure, like, because when I had said, that's like someone asking you to lose 50 pounds, they came back with like this asinine comment, and I was like, whatever, I shrugged it off. And they said, well, I want to make sure, because I didn't respond, and they were like, well, I want to make sure that you can basically like perform. Like, I want to make sure that you can actually do what you say you can do. And they wanted to like verify, right? And I said, well, I didn't say this, but I'm like, okay, well, you've already hired me once.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm capable of, for one. And two, the reason you even know about me and my services is because another person in your exact same field recommended me highly to you. And you even said that in the first meeting. So if someone that you trust in the same field as you highly recommends me, clearly I'm doing something right. I'm past the need to, I don't need to prove myself before payment. That's not who the fuck.
No.
What? No, never. And I get it. Like, wanting to save money. I understand budgeting. That I understand. I work solely with small businesses for the most part right now. I am more than happy to work with people on pricing structure. I always have, always will. Like, there are clients that I've had that I have severely undercut myself just because I wanted to help them and liked the product they had or believed in it and was like, you know what, screw it, I'm happy to help, right? That I'm fine with. But for you to demand things, and we don't have a good, like, we don't have like a strong working relationship, and you're demanding things like that, I'm like, you're not getting me. I don't understand where in their head they think that, like, I need them. Like, I can just as easily say no to work that I don't want.
Yeah. Dude, your art, like, there is a huge luxury in that point in progress that you're at right now. There's always room for expansion. There's always like places to go higher up, but yeah, you're kind of past that, like, one client every 3 months point, in your personal progression with your company. Like, you're not in that stage of, at least in like self-reflection of like, okay, good graces of these companies to use me or to give me a shot and like do these things. Like, you have a solid portfolio, you have things that you've done for like bigger companies and shit. Like, you've gotten your exposure and your proverbial chips on the headboard. Why should you have to just settle and accept these terms set by other people? No, fuck no. You're the master of your own fucking destiny, especially in this situation. That's why you're doing what you're doing. Fuck everybody else, man. Figure it out.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. It's like, I understand. I'm not the best at what I do. I'm always willing.
No, for sure.
I'm always looking to obviously get my name out there more. I'm always looking to like work with brands that I know are going to be good brands to work with and help with my exposure. But the exposure part is not the part that I most care about or that I think is going to be the most valuable.
Money.
I give a fuck less about that. Money's the second, definitely. Money's like
I want
first,
money.
I guess.
That's why I sold my soul. Because I want money.
For me, I think it's like money, but it's also like it's weird because now I'm at this weird point, like you said, of growth where, yes, the money is like money is number one, but then tied with it, or maybe just below it, is also just interest level for me. So that, like, when I did the helicopter shoot, I was like, I'm gonna fucking do that. I will lower my price a little bit to go fucking do a helicopter shoot. Obviously, who doesn't want to go shoot a helicopter? Everybody wants to do that. But like for stuff like that, I'm gonna work with the client a little bit more, obviously, because it's something that I want to do. But I just could not. I was so blown away that was an actual request. I was like, I don't know how to respond to this person in a way that they're gonna understand me, because they're so lost in the sauce at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what people are putting in the fucking fruit punch, but that's not how the world operates, not even remotely.
No, and it's I don't know. There's a whole mix of fucking perspectives that still exist nowadays, man. That like you hear somebody like just a whisper on the wind of somebody talking about things or like believing certain things or how things operate, and it's like you are so not here right now. You're like cosmonauted in a different fucking reality. Like when did you get here?
Literally.
Like when
Yeah.
when did you show up?
What happened? Oh, this is okay. So one more thing about this person, because I don't like to burn bridges. I don't like to bring up like work stuff, obviously. But this one is I needed to like get this out. But there's another thing that this person said in our first meeting, and this should have been my first red flag. Honestly, this was on me, because this should have been my first red flag of who this person was. Our first meeting, we're talking about everything, and it comes to the price again on this first one. And he goes, "Okay, well, how much do you charge?" And I told him I told him my hourly rate. I said, I charge this much an hour. I said, if you do a monthly plan where it's consistent, then I charge this much an hour, which is a little bit cheaper. And he comes back and says to me, "Oh, well, I charge $999,000 per session," literally acting as if though I just came up with those fucking hourly numbers out of the blue. That's what he literally acted like. Like I just sat there and I went, "Oh yeah, I could get $150 an hour out of this guy," or whatever. I was like, "No, dude. Like these prices have been set for a very specific reason. Like there is a lot of back end P&L stuff that goes into me determining my prices. Like I'm not just throwing fucking shit at a wall and seeing how many speckles I count to get my hourly." Okay, like this is a thought out I was like, dude, that should have been my first takeaway of like, who this customer is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
no,
here we are.
Dude, it's tough with that sometimes, man. Like amnesty is a beautiful thing in this situation specifically, but like, yeah, it's one of those things that like, especially in the world that we're in today, man, like you have to put thought into it. You have to put time and effort into what number your time is worth. Like your time, your skill, your your equivalent exchanges is worth, in these situations. I mean, and that even runs to different career paths too. Like to hear people talking about like doing hardcore, like blue collar labor, right? And the concept that there's still companies that are trying to start paying like entry level, like palletizing jobs for like 14 something an hour. It's like, you're fucking insane. You're absolutely fucking insane. Like there is no fucking, like, you're so far disconnected from the reality of our economy right now that like, like you're done. You look like an idiot. Like I saw a post the other day, and it was like it was a subcontractor thing. Because I mean, you're always peeping and like taking a look at things.
Of course, yeah.
And always personal progression. It's important. You gotta keep looking. But
gotta keep looking.
Never settle. Never settle. Always look. And but the fucking this listing was like for it was like for material handling, right? Which is kind of like it's something I've done in the past. Like it's something that I've been fluent in. So it came up in my pop-ups of like prior work history and search logging for the website that I use, and just going through the motions, and the listing or whatever is like contact for like their wages and all that stuff, which I thought was really fucking weird. Like it's probably going to be way too low than it needs to be for this job. Like usually if they're not willing to tell you up
for
front,
an interview, get you all hyped up, and then you'll tell you how shitty the pay is.
Yeah, exactly. And just we're like, like I said, the person message was like, "Oh, okay, I was just curious about your listing. How much is your hourly rate?" And they didn't really get back to me, and they came back, "Well, we offer this position and these benefits." And then I was like, no, like, well, what do you offer?
Hourly rate.
Yeah. And they came back because they was looking at like 50 to 55 hours a week. Okay. And we talked about this in a previous episode of like that equivalent exchange, right? $16.50 an hour. And I was like, you're fucking up,
fucking
dude.
shot, dude.
Like, there's a
Not
reason. I see
shot.
now why you don't list your pay, like, or anything, because you're not going to hire anybody. Like, yeah, I guarantee there will be one or two schmucks that go through this process, get in, do the, piss test, and like go through the motion, sign off on all the paperwork, get hired in. They're like, they get their first little paycheck after 2 weeks of working. And they're like, whoa, why is this only like $500? Like, what's going on here? What's happening?
Yeah.
And it's like,
dude, you need like, it's just, how do you not understand inflation right now? I mean,
Dude,
it's through the fucking roof, dude. It's through the roof.
It amazes me, man. Like,
I mean,
the
you
more,
need to make like $100,000 a year to live comfortably. And that's like bottom end comfortably.
Yeah.
For the most part. You need to be able to do that. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I got clients sending me stuff. Sorry. One of my clients is at a like the huge international coffee convention, so he's sending me a bunch of pictures and everything.
Oh yeah.
So, sorry about that.
No, you good.
But yeah, it's just like $16.50. Is that what they said? $16.50?
Yeah, $16.50.
Now to change. What is that? Okay, so $16.50 for what? 50 hours a week?
Yeah.
You're looking at $42,000 a year.
Yeah.
Now, okay, $16.50, but then they have to pay you. That's true, because they have to pay you over the 40. They have to pay you double, or what? Time and a half, double time.
That wasn't a point in conversation, but I'm sure they do OT. So like that would be.
Yeah, so it's probably like time and a half at least.
Yeah.
So what? So $16.50. I'm sorry, I'm a math junkie, so I want to figure this out.
Yeah.
So $16.50 for 40 hours. So that's $34,000 right there.
Oh.
And then 825 is what? 40, 15 or 10? Was it 50 or 55 hours?
It was between that margin was like the average. So we can go.
All right, so we'll go the high. We'll go the high end. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll go the high end. Sick. So you're at even less than that. Oh no, I'm sorry. You're more than that. $16.50 time. Oh yeah. Plus. Duh. I was like, how are you making less? That don't make no fucking sense. 15 times into. So you're making 50, maybe 60 grand a year.
Yeah.
And that's before taxes. You're making 60 grand a year.
Yeah.
So after taxes, your take home is probably like 45.
Maybe. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Like all in all,
I couldn't even imagine. The companies that have the audacity to do like $40,000 salaries nowadays, like what?
Oh, salaries especially.
What?
Oh my God.
$45,000 a year? What am I gonna do? $45,000 a year, live in a fucking box,
dude.
I can't even. Here's the fucked up. I can't even live in a van down by the river. The old classic saying, a van down by the river. I can't even live in that for like 45 a year.
Yep.
Unless I'm living in a beater and it's not a good river.
No.
It's just,
under an overpass.
Yeah. And that river's actually just sewage. That's it.
It's just sewage.
A sewage
it's just
leak.
a pure shit river. Yeah,
oh, God. I'll never understand.
It amazes me how disconnected a lot of people are. And like, I won't even get into the generational thing, because that in itself is just, it's amazing, especially with money.
Yeah.
Like I hear people, I even see videos on like TikTok and shit of like people, like people's family members, like sharing stories of this, where it's like, a family member, which, you never want financial compensation for a loved one. There's nothing that will be equivalent to having them around. So,
right.
But when there is that financial payout, and like they talk it up, or like, when I pass away, like I left this money for you, it'll change your life, like you'll be able to, really start a family and like move forward and like buy a house and da. And then like the money actually turns up, and you'd be surprised at how many, or you wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. It's tough to tell at this point. from the previous and previous generation, where they talk it up like this. It's like in our little fucking
huge
little disaster brains, it's like it's 25K, you know, like it's something that's gonna be like I can put a down payment on something, like it's gonna be perfect, like you know, you'll pay for your wedding, like all this stuff, and then it's like $1,500. And like to see the look on these people's faces when like they're telling this story, like it's a consistent
rough.
like they look at that, you know, it's bitch.
Yeah, the gym moment, looking into the camera at the like in the office.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
the fucking like you can't make that shit up. Like that's how fucking disconnected we are. Like I could fuck with $1,500, right? I could string a $1,500 payout for a bit, probably 2 months, maybe. If I'm really
You
like trying to fuck.
yeah.
Like I'm pretty fucking resilient when it comes to saving money and like budgeting and shit. But like,
right,
dude, like the crushing
I don't know
weight
about
of
life change.
Yeah, like this is like, oh sweet, I can buy an extra carton of eggs this month. Like that's awesome. And then
Sick. I can pay rent this month.
Yeah,
Sick.
everything else is fucking no. I'm selling my body to fucking pay rent this month. But everything else, man, you know, I can get an extra carton of eggs, you know, maybe some fucking water to go with my cereal, you know, like it'll be great, it'll be grand.
God.
Half a tank of gas, it'll be super good. Like it just, I don't know, it's so funny, man. It amazes me.
Well, and then the funny part too, and I haven't heard this excuse in a long time, or at least like in the last year. But the excuse always used to be like, well, back in my day, you could afford, right? Like,
fuck you.
Yeah,
fuck you.
Yeah,
fuck
you got
your
so
day.
much money. Like, what do you mean? You make this much, you can buy all this. But those are the same exact people that watch the news and are freaking out at how bad the economy is right now. And it's like, oh, so the economy affects you, but me, nah, inflation, the economy, that doesn't affect me. I got 60 grand a year. I'm rolling in the dough.
Yeah.
No, I'm suffering too, dog. You're selling my soul.
Dude.
And don't get me wrong, like, I've been very fortunate, like, I to afford what I afford, to afford the life I live. Like,
yeah,
I'm not complaining about the life that I live. You know, you make it yourself, you create it, but like, and I don't make excuses for it either. Like, if I am in a situation, it's my fault that I'm in that situation, or it's my it's, you know, it's pat on the back for me that I'm in a situation. It's all on me. But it also, don't make stupid asinine comments about things that make no sense anymore, you know?
No.
But,
especially on what you should know at this point to be the most volatile cesspool, which is the internet. Like, if you have an opinion that you think is like controversial or like it's a strong opinion in your book, leave it alone.
Don't say it.
Don't say it.
If
you're
Even
over
if you
the
think
age
it's
of
not a strong,
just shut up.
Go ahead.
You shut the like if you're fucking over the age of like 50, 55, don't talk about anything. Just talk to your friends. Talk to your friends in face.
I could guarantee if you're over like 55 in the 60 range, and anything that you are going to try and say on the internet is going to get you canceled. I'm sorry to tell you, but no matter the words that come out of your mouth, something in those string of words is going to get you canceled.
Yeah. Even
if you don't think it will.
Then you're wrong. And I don't know. I think because there are diamonds in the rough. There are people that, you know, have evolved over time and let society kind of do its thing and like stayed with the waves, right? And like accepted things for as they've rolled, and as things have blossomed on a societal level, like letting things happen organically in the way that they should, right? But if you, because I just had this conversation not that long ago about like the age bracket thing. I know I said it to you before, but like if you are of the ages of like 30 to 35, right? Within like that like adulthood, right? Which is supposed to be like adulthood. If you are within that age bracket and for some reason, man, you're still spouting really stupid shit or like really, really nasty stuff that's outdated by at least 30 years, 30, 40 years, you're just an ass. Like you're not, the world isn't that way. The world isn't that way anymore. You don't get to fucking exist in that space. you're wrong and you're an ass. You're choosing to be that person. And I feel it like that, taking that mile marker, the 30 to 35 age bracket, and you just extend it down the rest of the fucking road, right? Into the golden era and all that shit. You just put it down the line of age. The further down that line you get, and the more stupid your opinions are, it's like, you just stop. Like, just stop talking. Like, just,
Just stop talking, champ. Stop talking, champ.
Yeah. Read the room. Shut the fuck up. They're gonna
Shut up.
Love it. I don't know. It's goofy shit.
But,
I circle that on a regular basis.
That's the world we live in. So.
That is, yeah.
But hey, I think we'll cut that one here. It's 35 minutes.
Yeah, 35 ain't bad.
Good long episode there, right? Yeah.
Bitching and ranting for the last 10 minutes.
Do a little, yeah. Hey, that was the point of this episode. That's why we started with the shame chair, because we knew it was gonna lead into some shit. So, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of What We Learned This Week. Don't forget to don't hide your kids, don't hide your wives, because we out here making great content. Okay, don't forget that. If you want to support the show, go to patreon.com/WWLTW podcast. If you're broke but you can't afford it, that's okay. We still love you like a redhead stepchild. It's okay. We love you because we have to. Yes, and Walker, he's hashtag WSS. He will be back. I know that didn't sound confident, but he'll be back.
He's doing his thing.
He'll be back. Yeah, we love him. And if he won't be back, we have ideas of bringing him back. Take that as you will.
He'll be back.
But thank you guys for joining us for another episode, and we will see you next week.
We shall.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.